think you should collaborate. SI says, I think you should collaborate with more with Amir. I wouldn't mind. I told him I'm happy to see them together. But I wonder if it's like one of those things like the smart guys, they're probably like
I mean, I look at Amir
going.
like Amir to me is like your mathematics PhD professor, you know, and that's why you have like the GAs, right? The GAs can help you solve your problems, but they take it easy. But when you go to the professor's office, you're probably going to get the whole textbook just trying to solve one problem. You know, so you just have to find a balance. You know, I don't think everything Amir does or says and teaches is for everybody. But I think it's for people who want to be at that level. If you consider yourself a PhD HiFi personality, then you should probably want to listen to him. But you know, if you're just a freshman or sophomore just trying to enjoy the music, then you don't need to be listening to Amir. You know, so
possibility for information are infinite. You're absolutely right about that, Easy. And I see it a lot through the fellows I deal with, like in my groups and some of the other stuff I've been in, where it's all about how much of your time, energy, money, and life you want to spend in trying to gather that information. Well, I mean, it's a deep, deep rabbit hole. You can get into the science of physical acoustics, the electronics. Do you want to understand how amplifiers work? It's all a matter of what you want to learn yourself. And the teachers are out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with delivery, because somebody said here he's super smart, and I don't think anybody would disagree that he's super smart, but I think a lot of it, and I'm talking directly to you, Amir, if you happen to watch this, I think a lot of it has to do with how somebody takes it in. You know, do you feel bad? Do you feel dumb? Or do you feel, like are you feeling negative feelings when you're, does that make sense? Like, you don't want to feel bad when somebody's teaching you something. Teaching is fun. Teaching is fun. Learning is, or not teaching, but learning new things is fun.
Yeah,
and
learning is fun, but you can't tell me learning abstract algebra is fun. It's difficult. Some things are like that,
Some things are difficult.
There's really no easy way to learn certain types of things that can make you, put butterflies in your stomach. Some things are just difficult to learn, and if you have interest, you're just going to see you through. If you don't have interest, then just move on quietly.
Yeah, I think part of it's how our brains are wired as well. So
zip it.
Yeah, I think we're all wired differently, and so like for me, looking at analytics and data, that's honestly, it's difficult for me. I do a little bit of that on my channel, but it's really basic, very rudimentary. Is that the right word? Rudimentary?
Rudimentary.
Rudimentary. Yeah. So but that's, my brain isn't wired to love that kind of stuff.
Let's say if somebody says, "Hey, you know what? They're teaching you math. They're teaching you math. So math is just yes, you got the right answer, or no, you got the wrong answer." But if somebody says, "You know what? You're wrong, and you're pretty stupid for getting that wrong." Like, do I want to continue taking this class? I don't know.
No, yeah, that's
versus if somebody's like, "No, that's not right," but let me kind of show you.
Let me show you where you know.
But I guess maybe I'm looking at it from his perspective. Maybe somebody's saying, "No, you're wrong. Actually, it's this," and you're like, "No, you're not. No, you're wrong." So I can see it from both sides, but I think there has to be something where it's the delivery, making sure people feel welcome, and also delivering the message. I think a lot of people don't disagree with the message. I mean, who's going to disagree that more data to make purchasing decisions is good? To me, I think everybody likes more information.
Yeah.
Now the argument has always been like, is that all you need to make a decision? And this was coming from a comment on that video with Amir, which is measurements aren't everything. And I think what they really mean, you could take that two ways. You could take it as you can't measure everything, and then somebody might say, well, you can kind of measure almost everything, or everything that kind of matters. But I took it more as how much do you put weight on the way it looks? Is there a clipable measurement for aesthetics? Because that makes a difference. You know, I'm gonna buy based on like something I like the way it looks. No, Clipple doesn't tell you that. How about functionality? Like, I want the 5s. I like them because they have HDMI ARC. Is that something that the Clipple talks about? No, doesn't care about that.
Yeah, how to navigate the menu, how it connects to things. Does it have any connectivity issues, compatibility issues? You got to
all that, and those are all real factors. And sometimes it's more important to some people. So, like, you know, I was talking about that sound bar. Sonically, not as good as a lot of the other stuff that I have. But if I just want the simplest solution,
Are you going to be able to handle
it ranks very highly.
Yeah,
So I think that's what people mean is there's more than just the specs. And what they might not want to admit is, what if you are willing to make some sacrifices to the fidelity? What if you're like, you know what? I know the tubes maybe degrade the sound in certain ways, but I don't care. I like it. I like the glow and I like the way it looks. I don't even care if it sounds worse. How about that?
So would a good question be, how much data should you expect when, for example, you're buying a $1,000 speaker versus when you're buying a $5,000 speaker? Is how much should the end user, how much data should you as a user expect to get? So am I placing a $5,000 level expectation on my $1,000 speaker or on my $700 floor standing speaker? And how much expectation of data should I be expecting? Do I expect a deep dive into the acoustics of it and how low the frequencies go and things like that?
I think you should have as much data as possible.
I understand.
The more objective data, the better. But whether like, how much of that do you want to use, or how much do you care about some of that stuff?
Well, and
That's still up to you.
What happens is,
if it's available, is good.
Yeah, you get to a point to where you get so much data. It's just like going to buy a car. Generally, people don't give you 1,000 color choices because then no one would make a decision. So I do understand what they're saying when, we get to a measurement battle and all that turns into is everybody skewing their measurements just to get that difference. If you're comparing two similar priced speakers, someone with a higher measurement is generally going to win out just because of the lack of knowledge or research on what those numbers really mean. So there's a lot to it. And I do understand when they say the measurements aren't everything for sure.
Paul, you've always been smart, but with that coat on, man, you just sound so much smarter too.
I really love everything you're saying now.
You see people lying about specs a lot when it comes to amplifier power ratings, especially like, not the stuff we're usually accustomed to dealing with where we know about our best, but that peak power inflation, because there's a giant contest about who can put the number, which is complete BS. Yeah. And a lot of people get suckered into that.
Yeah, it became a number race without people understanding what any of the 0.5 of a difference really means. So they're making decisions on a 0.5, but not knowing really what it translates to, real life experience, or what's going on to inflate the numbers.